There are loads more bedtime stories on BBC iPlayer. Just search CBeebies Bedtime Stories.
CBeebies Bedtime Story.
Hello, I'm Tom, and it's time for another bedtime story. And tonight's story is all about... I'm sorry, but Teddy has a slice of cake, and I really want one too, and it's not fair because I love cake, and I think I need a bit of help with this feeling that I'm having. And I think tonight's story can help with that. It's called Milo's Monster, and it's by Tom Percival. Milo lived in a neat little house on a neat little street. He loved his home for lots of reasons, but mainly because his best friend Jay lived next door. Milo and Jay shared the good times, the bad times, and everything in between. Nothing could beat the feeling of having a best friend. Then one day, a new family moved into the big old house across the road. Milo watched as a girl ran excitedly round the garden. And she smiled and waved. Milo waved back. Later, that afternoon, Milo went to call for Jay. But he wasn't in. He had gone over to the big old house across the road without telling Milo. Jay and the girl were in the garden laughing very loudly. A funny feeling squirmed around in Milo's tummy. "Hi, Milo," called Jay. "This is Susie. Isn't her garden amazing?" Milo nodded. But the jealous, squirmy feeling was nothing to do with Susie's massive garden, and everything to do with how much fun Jay was having without him. The next day, Jay was out. Again, Milo knew exactly where he would be, and sure enough, he was outside reading comics with Susie. Then, Milo had a horrible thought. What if Jay didn't want to be best friends with him anymore? The squirmy feeling took over completely. And as it did, something very strange happened. A green-eyed monster popped up right beside him. "It's not fair," muttered the monster. "Jay is your friend, not Susie's." And from then on, the green-eyed monster wouldn't leave him alone. Whenever he saw Jay and Susie laughing, the green-eyed monster said they were making fun of him. And whenever he saw them playing, the monster hissed that they were having more fun without him. Every time Milo saw Susie and Jay together, the green-eyed monster made him feel terrible. So Milo decided to stop seeing them at all. If they called around at his house, he pretended not to be in. If he saw them at the park, he would hide. And if either of them asked what was wrong, he just said, "Nothing," and turned away. Day after day, he walked around with only the miserable mutterings of the green-eyed monster for company. Until one day, Susie tapped him on the shoulder. "Why aren't you and Jay friends anymore?" she asked. "He really misses you." She looked very upset. The monster said it was a trick, that Susie was lying, but Milo shook his head. It was time to get rid of that pesky monster once and for all. Milo shut his eyes tight, took a deep breath, and tried to force the bad feeling away. The green-eyed monster protested and muttered mean words, but its voice became quieter and quieter and quieter, until at last it was completely gone. Finally, Milo could see the truth. The green-eyed monster had nearly ruined everything. Now he did the only thing he could. He said, "I'm sorry." And he really was. Soon they were all friends again, laughing and playing in Susie's garden together. Milo smiled. Nothing could beat the feeling of having a best friend. Except having two of them. Good for you, Milo. You got rid of that green-eyed monster and gained a new friend. Result. Listen, it doesn't feel nice to be jealous, but it does happen to everyone. It's much better to try, no matter how hard, to dig deep, and even pretend if you have to be happy for a friend. You never know what might happen. They might not even realize that you have such big feelings. I'll be back to read you another bedtime story very soon. Until then, you shall go to bed. Night-night.
There are loads more bedtime stories on BBC iPlayer. Just search CBeebies Bedtime Stories.